Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to greet you this morning. On this beautiful Sunday, we are experiencing the start of the fall season. And always at the beginning of fall, I just feel there's like a fresh energy coming to all of God's creation and coming to all of us as God's sons and daughters. So, especially as we're restarting our weekly in-person services, I'm so excited, so grateful to see each one of you here, our brothers and sisters, joining us to kind of relaunch our Heavenly Parents Holy Community here in the Clifton Family Church community. Are you happy to be here this Sunday? All right. So, first of all, I also want to take a moment to acknowledge that last night we had a beautiful, beautiful holy wine ceremony and blessing registration for our Chunbo couples, those who are already inducted last year in 2020 and those who will be inducted this year of 2021, as well as a blessing festival for some couples that are receiving the blessing for the first time. And this whole chapel was filled with mostly our elder couples, some younger couples too, in the ladies in beautiful white dresses with tiaras, and the husbands in the crisp black suits with the gold ties, and everybody looked so good. I think reflecting externally the amazing heart and character of our brothers and sisters internally. So if you are among the Chunbo that we were able to honor last night, could you just stand up so we can give you our love and appreciation and honor you this morning? Congratulations, brothers and sisters. We're so grateful for your investment. Thank you. The way I see those who've stood, and we had many others also who are participating from around the district here last night as well, I really feel they're like the firm foundation for our community and, leading us forward towards the kind of heart and dedication towards God and our true parents. They give us, something to aspire to and also encourage us on our path towards the Chunbo. As our true mother said, we're all on that journey. And last night, even Dr. Yoon, who is the beginning MC for the program, mentioned that we're all on this journey, and we're grateful for the ones who have pioneered the way and are helping us move forward. So we're grateful to be with you. We honor you this morning. What I also want to acknowledge this morning is that when we talk about the Chunbo, being inducted into the Chunbo, this is something our true mother has given us over the last 7 years in particular. I know that so many really good happening to somebody else. If we're honest, that's the theme of the morning. If we're honest, sometimes we don't always feel happy about that. We can sometimes feel jealous. Oh, gosh, I wish that I had been able to do what my sister did or my friend did. We might feel frustrated. Oh, I was working so hard and I made these conditions, but I didn't quite make it, and you get frustrated. Or why does it have to be so hard? I'm giving so much, but it's so much work that we have to do in order to be inducted. Why is this the focus? All these different, honestly, emotions can come up. Or maybe we're looking at someone who has received, an award or an honor and kind of questioning, oh, why are they getting it? Why not me? Do these emotions come up, brothers and sisters, sometimes? They do, right? And even you get an honor, you receive an honor, such as, the induction into the Chunbo, and even you can feel kind of, not good enough, like, oh, maybe I should have done more, or I wish that I had been able to make more of an offering. Maybe you felt like, um, you did your best, but you're kind of feeling, oh, there's so much more that needs to be done. So even you receive an honor, you can have that kind of feeling inside. Or you feel sorry that, you couldn't work with somebody else. So there's all kinds of different emotions that come up. And that's just related to this one topic of Chunbo. And if we go further and we think about, all of us here in this chapel together, each one of us as individuals, as couples, as families, outside of what's happening within our faith tradition, we are dealing with so many things in life. And our families are so precious and so important to us. And it's not always easy, though, at the same time, to relate with our families the way that we'd like. I think for most of us, we want to have, for all of us, we want to be really, really amazing family members. We want to say, I'm a great mom. I'm a great dad. I'm a good son. I'm a good daughter. I take care of my brothers. I take care of my sisters. We want to say, this kind of thing. We want to feel that. We really have a good family. And in reality, I think all of us are better than we know. I think all of us sitting here are better moms and dads, better sons and daughters, better brothers and sisters than we give ourselves credit for. Because we do have a tendency as human beings to notice what's not good. Is that true? Somehow we see more of the flaws in ourselves and in others more than seeing all the good points. More than noticing, oh wow, actually, I just spent a whole day to be with my children, to take care of their needs. Or my husband was having a really tough time, so even though I was tired, I gave him a massage. Or I spent, a half a day volunteering at that program to support the community, even though, I had some work to do at home. These are all really amazing and beautiful things that we're doing. But sometimes we don't see it. And sometimes we don't recognize it in each other, how beautiful, how amazing we are. And instead we notice, oh, that person is doing this, oh, they could, or they said that comment, that wasn't very nice. And unfortunately, maybe we don't even say it out loud, maybe we just think something, critical about a friend, or think something critical about someone else in the community. But even if we don't say it out loud, say something critical about ourselves or about another person, we feel it. We think it inside, correct? And if we're getting honest with ourselves, even just having a critical thought, even just being disappointed in someone, even if you don't say it, but you feel it, then it's affecting you as a person. It's affecting your spirit. It's affecting how happy you can actually be when you're with that person, when you're with your family members. Even if you're serving and you're giving and you're taking care of the needs of other people in your family, if in your mind you're thinking about how disappointed you are in them for not helping you or being there for you when you need something, or you're frustrated with them about something they said or something they did even months ago, and you're holding that in your heart, then even if you're trying to have a good time as a family, you can't really be fully happy. Does that make sense? You can't really be fully happy. And even if you're coming to the community here, our Clifton Family Church, our Heavenly Parents Holy Community, and even if you've had so many good experiences here, where you enjoyed conversation and fellowship with brothers and sisters, where you felt you were being spiritually nourished by the music, by the message, maybe through the prayer. If if you have something in your heart where someone in this community did something to you that you haven't been able to forgive, then a part of you doesn't want to come here. If there's somebody in this congregation, whether older or younger or your same age, that at some point along the way, you tried to share some of your heart with that person, and they couldn't listen, they couldn't understand, or they kind of dismissed it, or they laughed at it, then there's a part of you that doesn't feel really fully comfortable to be here. And this is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to face this. But for me, as the pastor of the community, I get to hear a lot. I get to see a lot. I get to talk with a lot of the different members of our community. And what hurts my heart to think about is that so many of these obstacles to us really feeling comfortable, to really being happy, to really being free as a community of faith, is that we are not being honest. If we were willing to do the courageous thing, some people think it's more polite and it's more respectful and it's nicer to keep something to yourself, right? To just pretend like everything is okay, that there are no issues, that there are no problems, and to not say anything. And sometimes, yes, that is true. Because not everything we think and feel is necessarily right or correct or necessary to communicate. But other times, if your heart is cold towards someone and you find yourself avoiding that person, instead of talking to them about what you're struggling with, maybe something that happened, or if you're feeling ashamed about something that's going on in your life, maybe you feel ashamed about a relationship you have with a spouse or a child, and therefore you're not sharing about how things are going in your family, then we can't really feel close and connected to each other. So as the pastor, my heart, my desire is that we become more courageous. That we become more courageous in our relationship with each other as a community. And as we do this, it's going to be uncomfortable at first. If we go to our friend, if we go to our elder, and we say, you know what? There's something that I'm struggling with. You know, True Father gives us this advice that if there's an awkward situation, then you got to report about yourself honestly. And maybe, you're actually needing to ask for help. You can go to that person. You can say, I don't want to be mad at you. I don't want to be disappointed in you. But honestly, I feel this way. So I need your help. I need your help. Can you help me understand? Why did this happen? How did we get here? And listen for their response. Maybe they didn't even know they hurt you. I've experienced this with Pastor Taquino. Sometimes I'm nervous. He's my elder. He's my assistant pastor. He's someone I really admire and respect. But occasionally, actually more often than occasionally, we're very different people. And Pastor Taquino might do something, that I don't particularly agree with or think is exactly the right thing to do. And sometimes I'm nervous to tell him, actually, Pastor Taquino, that kind of made me uncomfortable, or I didn't really feel good about that. But I've been experimenting lately, understanding the principle that, we are meant to have true love relationships with each other. What is true love? What is true love? So let me have you think about that for a minute. So with Pastor Aquino, sometimes we don't see eye to eye. I'm a younger person, he's an older person, a little bit older, not that much older. We don't always have the same exact way we approach things. Also, we come from two different cultural backgrounds. We have disagreements. We don't always see things the same way. And for a long time, I was worried. I felt uncomfortable to tell him things because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I didn't want him to be disappointed in me or feel uncomfortable. But after a while, I realized that we weren't close. That I didn't have the kind of relationship with Pastor Aquino where I really felt that this is my elder brother. This is my uncle, like a family. Because in the family, things come out. You can't kind of hold it in too long. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna swallow any nervousness or worry, and I'm gonna just share honestly with Pastor Aquino what my concerns are, or what I've experienced. And when I did that, and Pastor Aquino could listen to it and understand it, receive it from me, I felt so much more at ease. And I felt so much closer. And actually, once I shared it with Pastor Aquino, and he said to me, oh, I didn't realize. Oh, I didn't see it like that. I didn't know. And then would share some response back. And then, maybe we change some of how we relate to each other. Then from there, actually, we now can work more closely together. We can feel more comfortable around each other. If he has something to share, he can share honestly with me. If I have something to share, I can share honestly with him. Now God can actually work through us more because we are relating with each other in an honest way. But what if I had stayed in my thought, I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to disappoint him. I don't want to make him upset. Then there'd actually be distance between us. We wouldn't be united. We wouldn't really be able to work together. And I've noticed that for whatever reason in faith communities, perhaps because all of us are striving to be good people, we want to be good people. We want to do the right thing. We want to make God happy. That we sometimes, in that pursuit, we don't deal with the obstacles that are in the way. We don't address the real problems. We don't address the real challenges that are there. I think it's time we change that culture in our community. What do you think? Do you think it's time to become a more open and honest, more real community? Would you like to feel closer to the people that you're sitting around in this chapel? Yes? Would you like to be seen? Would you like to be known for who you really are, for what you really feel and what you really think? I think all of us want that on some level. We might be scared. We might be nervous. Well, if they knew this about me, or if they heard this, maybe they wouldn't really think of me the same way. I've been there. I've certainly been there. As an older second-generation unificationist, young unificationist in this community, there's a certain understanding that or even as a pastor, as a leader, I need to keep a certain standard. I need to be a certain person. But if and I know that other second generation that are in this audience can relate to this, if I have to pretend to be someone that I'm not, then eventually I'll break. I won't be able to stand here in front of you. I won't be able to give you a message because God cannot use fully someone who isn't, how do I put this into words? If we are divided within ourselves, pretending to be one thing but acting in a different way, if we don't have integrity, or we're not working towards being a person of integrity, then God can't fully dwell in us. God can't fully speak through us or love through us or work through us. So we have to be willing. If it's not comfortable to do it with everybody, at least have one person or a few people that you can honestly report to. You know, sometimes it's hard to face it with that person directly that you're having a challenge with, like I was describing, I was able to do with Pastor Dick, you know, but sometimes we can't always do that. But we need to find someone whom we respect, someone whom we trust, someone whom we feel really, really cares about us, really wants the best for us, wants us to be our true self and have the ultimate relationship with God. For me, that person is who I call my elder brother, and who happens to be our national president, Naokimi Yoshiroda. I know that he deeply cares about me as his younger sister in this faith community. At the same time, a few weeks ago, when I was going through something challenging, when I was grappling with some challenges that I was experiencing in my family, even in my pastoring of this community, I'm sure this is not a surprise for you to know that pastoring is challenging, right? Anybody surprised by that? Pastoring is very challenging. I have to really stretch and love everybody as much as I can. All of you that are in our community, be there for you and do and organize the different programs and the taking care of all the practical needs of our church, all of which I am really grateful to be able to do in service to God and true parents. But at the same time, it really challenges me because I'm also having to take care of my family at the same time, be present with my husband, my children, you know, taking care of the practical needs of my household. And I know many are in the same situation where you have your desire to offer publicly to God, to true parents, and also you have to manage what's going on in your day-to-day life, your home, your household, your family. And I was really struggling. I felt I was limited. I felt I couldn't give as much as I wanted to give. And I was even struggling with some of the things that I was hearing, you know, from President Naokimi, even things he was asking me to do. And in that state, I remembered, you know, that there's this principle of sometimes you have to just report honestly. You need to confess what's in your heart. Actually, Dr. Young was talking about this not too long ago. Just being able to pour it out to someone you trust, someone you admire, someone who's been there for you. And I chose to believe that even if President Naokimi had something to hear from me that he wouldn't be easy for him to hear. You know, even if there was something I felt, he's going to be disappointed by this, or he's not going to be encouraged by this. And I want to inspire him. I want to encourage him. I want him to be energized and not, you know, depleted by me. I decided that God needed us to have a real relationship as a brother, older brother and younger sister. And it was scary and it was nerve-wracking, but I went to him and I shared with him the challenges that I was going through. And I was so moved in that moment because I really felt it was like God was listening to me through Naokimi, President Naokimi. Have you ever had that experience with someone before? Where there's somebody you trust, somebody who's in a position that, you know, is really to be like a mentor to you, to be like an able figure to you, and you were able to share what was in your heart, what you were going through, and that person could hear it and receive it and say, it's understandable what you're going through. And then, you know, of course, he gave me some encouragement, he gave me some advice, and I really felt from that moment on, something could open up. could see my situation from a different perspective, right? I could see, oh yeah, actually it's not maybe as bad as I thought it was, or I'm not struggling as much as I thought that I was. And I realized that, I could do something about my situation. And I received some insights. I received some inspirations. But more than that, I felt now I can work more closely. I can have a more stronger connection with Present Now Kimi. Now I feel we can be more open with each other. And when things come up, we can deal with them more quickly so I don't get stuck. He doesn't get stuck. And I really, really experienced being seen, being heard, being received. Because I was so close to just saying, oh, this is too much. I'm very overwhelmed by this. But he could understand what was going on for me, and he could be there for me. And I realized that I want more of our community members. I want all of us to experience the unconditional love of God. And if you're not feeling unconditionally loved by God right now, and I think for a lot of us that's really hard to feel all the time, unconditionally loved by God, then I'm challenging you today. I am challenging you. If you are not feeling unconditionally loved by God, if you're not feeling that no matter what I do, no matter what I say, no matter who I am, I'm always loved by God. God's with me no matter what, then you've got some work to do. And if you're coming to this community and you're not feeling like this community is a place where you can be unconditionally loved by the other members of this community, then I'm challenging you. Become a person of unconditional love to others in this community. Be the one that can provide the listening ear. Be the one that can show up without judgment, that can embrace people where they are. There's a really amazing Christian counselor, Dr. Greg Bear. He's written a book called Real Love. And he expands on what our true parents have given us, this understanding of true love or unconditional love. In his book, he describes, and I recommend this book to everybody, if you're really striving to become a person that can experience unconditional love and give unconditional love, this is really an excellent book. Dr. Bear says, only when we set aside our getting and protecting behaviors and learn to speak honestly and tell the truth about ourselves can we create an opportunity for others to see us as we really are. Only when we are seen can we feel genuinely accepted and believe that other people truly care about our own happiness, which is the definition of real love. When you tell the truth about yourself, repeat after me, when I tell the truth about myself, in a safe and honest way, I create the opportunity to find someone who will love me unconditionally. And not everybody that you come across will be ready to do that for you. But if you have a sense that there's someone who has said that they love you, that they care about you, that they want to be connected with you, and you haven't told the truth about yourself to that person, you haven't shared what's really in your heart, what you're really going through, what you're challenged by, what you're inspired by, what you're working through, what you're working on doing, then go to that person. Maybe it's a spouse. Maybe it's your child. Maybe it's a parent. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's someone sitting right here in this chapel. And open up your heart, because God is in people. God is in people. Look around the room. Do you see God? I only heard like 3 people.
Do you see God? If you don't see God, then you got to work on that, number one. But if you see God, if you recognize that God is in the people around you, then you need to connect with those people in order to connect with God. Had you? And to really connect with someone, yeah, you can talk about the weather, you can talk about your favorite hobbies, you can go out and enjoy a fun day at the park, and that's going to bring a certain kind of connection. You can have meals together, but to really feel connected to someone, to really experience, this is someone that I call my bosom friend, or someone that I really love, and they really love me, you've got to share. You've got to open up. You've really got to dig in. And I know that wherever we are right now as a community, in terms of our connection with each other, we have the capability to go deeper. We have the capability to build stronger bonds of love and connection. And if we have that kind of connection here within our Heavenly Parents Holy Community, the world, the society outside of this community is longing for that kind of connection even more than we are. There are so many in the world today that even though they're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, they don't feel connected. They feel alone. They don't feel known, they don't feel seen, they don't feel heard. Because they're lacking that real, genuine human connection of heart, of spirit, of mind. But they want it because everyone wants to experience true unconditional love. And if we can really create an environment here through the relationships that we build with one another of unconditional love, real love, where we can accept each other, even if there's something we don't agree with, even if there's something we can't understand why that person did that or said that, but we can still love them. We can still want to connect with them, share with them, understand them. Then God will be here, and it will be felt, and it will be experienced. I know we already feel God in many ways, but there's so much more for us to experience. And when we really bring God into this place, and we're feeling God is here, we can't help but want to invite other people to come here with us. We'll feel comfortable to bring them here. We'll want them to get to know these unconditionally loving people. Amen? And when we'll attract people that are looking for that and that want to experience that. So my commitment to you is to continue practicing unconditional love towards you. Real love towards you. Sometimes real love means I have to tell you how it is. I have to say, you're being really mean to this person. Or you gotta take some time with your child. Or have you sat down and told your friend what you're struggling with? So the way that I love you as congregants of this community not always be the way you want love. Is that okay? Is that okay? Sometimes I have to challenge you because I love you. Because I love you. Because I'm not okay with anybody not really experiencing the kingdom of heaven in their hearts. Being the kingdom of heaven, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. Because I believe that we can experience the kingdom of heaven when we show up to bring the kingdom of heaven into reality. Do you believe that? Do you want to experience the kingdom of heaven in this community? Are you committed to unconditionally loving as much as possible the brothers and sisters that are around you? All right. So we've got a little bit of work to do. And you've got some homework. Try it with one person this week. start with 1. Close your eyes now, if you would, please. Close your eyes. Please close your eyes. And picture 1 that you would like to share openly and honestly with, in the hopes that you can experience a deeper, more loving connection with them. Just 1. And imagine what it would be like to share, to open up, to tell that truth. Maybe it's scary. Maybe it's exciting. Now imagine they thank you for sharing with them. And now they share about themselves too. And you learn something about them. And you get closer. Okay, once you have that one person in mind, you can open up your eyes. Once you have that one person in mind, you can open up your eyes. So I would like to encourage you to work on that this week. Because if we do it with 1, then we can do it with 2. And if we do it with 2, we can do it with so on and so on and so on. And as much as possible, extend ourselves out to each other within this community. Let's support one another in being the unconditionally loving people that we want to be. Thank you. God bless you.